everybody. Welcome back to the Trig Podcast. So joining GOZO TV on this beautiful Saturday here, almost 1 p.m. Pacific here in the Los Angeles area, Long Beach, California. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this amazing video. How are you doing? Leave me a comment below. Let me know where you're watching from. Leave me a comment and it'll show up on the screen. And most of all, just let me know how you're doing today. What are your plans for the weekend? What are you doing today? What are the things that you're planning on doing? And most of all, how are you feeling amidst all the craziness that's happening these days? But I woke up really focused and encouraged, and I want to walk you through some of the things that I do every morning to stay focused, because obviously these days it's super easy to give in to all kinds of negativity and discouragement. And yes, live, absolutely. Hello, the South Carolina, excuse me. So yes, live right now. So thank you for being here, by the way. On Periscope, one of my favorite platforms. I started way back on Periscope when I think there were two platforms that started live streaming maybe 4 or 5 years ago, Meerkat and Periscope. So I'm very faithful and committed to Periscope even to this day. But talking today about how to get anything you want even in 2020. And I was mentioning how every morning I have a routine that I go through to stay focused on my goals and the things that I want, especially because these days it's very, very easy to give up. Not just on your dreams, but just on life, on the future. I mean, I have so many friends that call me and say, Trig, you know, this is the end. It's the end of the world. And I'm not talking about anything crazy, just people that are discouraged. And I think that we have to start with our current mental health. But at the same time, we can't stop there. We have to move to what can we do to accomplish our goals, to stay focused on the things that we want, to awaken even just that desire that we had last year. Or maybe we haven't had a desire in 5 years because of many reasons. So I want to walk you through a brief training, just a few slides that I use in my own life to connect me back to my purpose. And so let's get into the training right now. So I'm going to just test a few things here before we get started to make sure that everything is clean and clear and ready to go. So let me just try a few things here. You're going to see a couple of behind the scenes stuff here using Keynote, and then I'm going to press this magic button. And before I keep going with the training, let me just see once again that all the slides are in the right place and that everything is as I want it to be. So I think I'm going to switch to that screen. That way you can see just the one slide. I believe that's going to help. So, okay, let's get into it. So I have a few things that I want to walk you through on how to get anything you want, even in this year, 2020, which obviously has caught all of us by surprise. Again, let me just make sure that this is the right slide. Yeah, I believe that's the right slide. Okay, I think we're good. My picture there is a little big and some of the comments, but I think we'll be okay. So I'll just keep monitoring this training, okay? So let's get into that. So the first thing, obviously, is what I was saying as introduction. By the way, leave me a comment below. Let me know where you're watching me from, your name, so we can give you a shout out and develop a community here of achievers, of people that aren't going to give up on their dreams no matter what. So that's a picture, by the way, of my beautiful family, our 3 children. I've been married 25 years to the love of my life, who is my star, my strength, my partner, my beautiful wife of almost 25 years next month. And together we have these, I look at this picture and I always think of hairy monsters, these beautiful hairy monsters that I'm just kidding. They are our beautiful children that are now teens and young adults. 3 beautiful just young adults that God has given my wife and I the privilege to raise when they were little, and now to partner with them as they pursue their own goals. So how to get anything you want, even in 2020, so you can be financially free and fulfill your God-given destiny. And that's really the crux of what I want to talk about. It's about fulfilling what's in you. It's about learning who you are and committing to continuing down that path. So the number one slide, this is, by the way, just a stock picture. Those are not our children, and that's not me, obviously, although we look alike. So you first want to start with, what do you want? And I want to give you a list of the things that I want, to give you a picture of how important it is to be specific with what you want. So I lead a church, and I've always been in large churches of 1,000. And currently I'm at a very small church, which I love with my whole heart. But what I want is a big church, a fit body, to finish my master's degree, to speak to thousands. I also sing to thousands, to work with one of our daughters that you saw there on the picture. She also loves media. She's an influencer. She has millions and millions of followers on YouTube and Instagram. And my dream would be to work together with her in Trig Media, which is our side hustle, I guess you could call it, and to make $250,000 so that she and her sisters and eventually her husband and kids can be financially secure. And for me, the joy is to partner with her and to work with my own daughter, which has always been a dream of mine. And so I want to give you a picture of how specific your dreams have to be. What you want is always going to be very clear in your head. What happens, though, is that we have all kinds of negativity around it, or doubt, or we think, is this good? Is this not good? Is this real? We use our logic, and our logic is important. Of course, we have to think of what are the steps that we have to take, but you have to be clear on what you want. And for me, having these goals, I've had these goals for many years, and in some areas I feel close, in other areas I feel very far from them. But every morning I go through my goals. I rewrite them. I don't just read them. I don't have them posted per se. I've had that before. And in my walls here, if you see there behind the scenes here, I have pictures and things. Some of them I've taken down because they're no longer my goals. Goals change over time, but sometimes, especially this year, our goals can fade away because we see with our normal eyes our situation, the situation of our parents, or what's happening worldwide, and we can get discouraged. But I go back to my own dreams and what I want. I don't call them dreams. I don't call them even visions. I call them specifically for what they are. What do I want? And I want to start off the bat here saying that the Bible is very clear on the importance of this. At the end, I'll show you a verse that is our foundation for me, and the foundation to this whole topic, which is in Matthew 6, which says simply, ask and you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive. And so if you think of Christmas time and you were a little boy or little girl, what did your parents often say to you? What do you want? What did you in your heart dream of getting at Christmas? What you want, what you wanted. And so that desire that God has put in your heart is given by God. Now, do you have evil desires? Of course, we all have evil desires. We all want things that maybe aren't the best things. But even those things, we have to look at them and say, what's behind that? What's behind my wanting to be a millionaire? Is it that I want to provide for my family? Is it that I know I have those skills in me? You have to stop judging every particular want and tell yourself, well, that's not realistic, or that's never going to happen. And instead, you have to be clear on what you want. Every successful entrepreneur, creative, teacher, restaurant worker, construction owner is clear on what they want, and they put in the work to accomplish their dreams, to provide for their families, to have that nice car, to enjoy being your own boss, to not having anyone tell you what to do. All of those things can be judged by ourselves, by parents, by society. Someone can say to you, what do you mean you don't want a boss to tell you what to do? That's the only way, young man, that you're going to make anything of yourself in this world. Well, look at what's happening online. So many solopreneurs and creatives and achievers that have done it on their own, that have built their own businesses, that have been able to accomplish their dreams by being committed to what they want. And so you have to be clear on what you want. And I even like having numbers, financial numbers, or maybe you want how many cars you want. Now, not everything is material. Material things are just sometimes a way to kind of get you thinking about what you want. And instead of spiritual bypassing, which a lot of people do, especially people of faith, meaning they just say, well, I just want to honor God. I want to please God. I want to serve everyone. I want to help the world. Of course, that's what everyone wants, especially if you're a person of faith. But what is the means to that end? What is the tool that you're going to use to get there? And what are the markers? How do you know if you're loving God? Well, for me, having a church that is filled, it not only is it a dream and a want and a goal that I have, but that's the way that I want to influence thousands of people to know more about who Jesus is. A fit body, there's a part of vanity, but for the most part is a commitment to something that I've always been committed to, which is to work out every day for the rest of my life, 6 times a week. And so you have to be clear and specific. And so what I do in the trainings that I often do is I would actually spend 10, 20 minutes right now having the group of people. Normally I will talk to small groups of 3 to 5 people. I like doing small groups more than big numbers in terms of trainings. I like speaking to thousands, but in terms of training, I like doing it with just a few people, like a mastermind, 5, 6, 8 people. What I have them do is to actually, to actually write down their specific goals and to be very clear. And I would give them 10, 15 minutes because many times, for many reasons, people can't access their dreams, can't access what they want because of many limiting beliefs. And speaking of that, number 2 is you have to overcome your limiting beliefs. Every one of us has blocks in our minds of why we can't want what we want. And for me, they're very simple. And I like writing them down and having other people know them because it takes the fear away from it. And it also helps you realize how common we all are, how we all face the same issues. It's just a little bit different, perhaps. So for me, my beliefs in terms of my goals is I say I'm too old. It's just if I'm 16, if I was 14, if I was 8, then maybe I could accomplish my dreams. It's too late. I sometimes tell myself, well, it's just not meant to be. It's not God's will. 2020 is a terrible year. Those are the obstacles that I face every day in terms of wanting the things that God has put in my heart. And it's constantly this battle between what you want and these limiting beliefs. Now, why are they called limiting beliefs? Because they are beliefs. They're not just ideas or thoughts. They truly become your belief, and they limit you. That's the problem with these beliefs. They limit you. And so there are at least 3 limiting beliefs that are common to us all: our present, our past, and our future. So to put it in order, our past, our present, and future. Our past. Well, let's say you want to marry the man of your dreams. Well, I keep dating all these horrible guys. I keep making the same mistakes. Well, I dated this guy and he cheated on me, or he did something inappropriate. And so it seems like it's just not meant to be. Perhaps you're a young man and you have never had a real job and you think, well, I can't make $100,000 or be a millionaire because I don't have any skills. I'm too old, and even though you might be 20 or 25. Or perhaps you are someone more at midlife, someone who has already a lot of things accomplished, and you think, well, what's the point? Why even try? This is a terrible year. I don't have an education. It's too late. I don't know anybody. For a lot of us, that's the past, right? The present says, like the things I mentioned, well, this year, it's just a waste. I'll wait till next year. Well, I'm already gaining a bunch of weight, so what's the point of working out? Plus, you can't go to the gym. You can't do these things. You have to wear a mask. How am I going to ever work out? And the future is also the third area where we can give in to lies. We say, well, it's going to take me 10 years to learn all these things. I don't have any money to buy a course or to learn a new skill or to go back to school. It's too late. The future, who knows the future? God has the future. And we can begin to spiritual bypass even our own wants and desires. Spiritual bypassing, by the way, just simply means that we move too quickly to spiritualizing everything, where we don't really get clear on what we want, those obstacles, and then a process to get there. And of course, we all need to be spiritual people. That is the foundation to life, is what is God doing in your life? What is he putting in your heart as those desires? But assuming that that's there, assuming that your intentions are good, like it is for most of us, what you then want to do is to be really clear on your limiting beliefs. So what are your limiting beliefs? Maybe leave a comment below. What are the things that you keep telling yourself that are the reasons why you can't accomplish your dreams? Why you're never going to find that man? Write them down. Now you may say, why? Because every time that you wake up in the morning and you don't want to get out of bed, or you want to just play video games all day, or you want to hide, or you want to go be a workaholic and do way too many things, you want to go back to these beliefs and say, oh, maybe the reason why I'm a workaholic and I'm never home is because I'm afraid that I'm getting too old, that I'm irrelevant. And only if I do will I stay front of mind, will I stay relevant. That's a fear that is driving you, and fears, limiting beliefs, they will harm you and keep you playing small every time. Every time that I give in to these things there on the screen, I play small. I give in to the worst of me. I begin to think, well, it'll never happen. And so that's why you have to move to number three. Number three is you have to partner. You have to look for people and input, and that's the next step, input. But these are actual people that you need to avoid and those that you need to partner with. And so I have on there on the screen, avoid people who don't believe in your vision and partner with those who have the same or very similar vision as you. One of the things that I've learned from millennials and even younger people is the power of collaboration. I've always enjoyed collaborating, but I don't come natively to that way of thinking, of collaborating. I am a solopreneur. I like to do things on my own. And then I end up feeling lonely and people feel isolated from me. Partnership has been, and it definitely is now, the way forward. So you want to work out, find a group of people. Again, for millennials, this is natural through apps and through all kinds of things. Find a group of people to work together with. When I was into working out, I've always been into working out. I've always been in shape. I have, not to bore you, but I was a natural bodybuilder for about 3-4 years. And, lean and mean and all that stuff. I cut weight. I was eating clean for 4 or 5 years before it was even cool to do that. And this was when I was almost in my 40s. But then in my 40s, when I began to lose motivation and, metabolism stuff kicked in and laziness and stress and all that stuff, I joined a CrossFit group. Now, CrossFit wasn't the right thing for me. It was just too much for my body and for maybe just who I am. But for those 3 to 6 months that I did CrossFit, the thing that I learned the most was the power of community, of working out with other people, even though I've always worked out alone. And you have to know yourself. I'm not saying that in every area you should look for a partner. If you are more of a solo worker or a solo exercise person, then that's fine. But you have to partner at some point in your goal, especially if it's a business goal or a creative goal, because everyone now is connected. Everyone's dealing with the same things, and people have all kinds of connections and resources that you don't have. Now, equally as important is to avoid the negative people that will discourage you or will have different goals or will just simply not care about your dreams. Now, if those people are in your home, you can't divorce your wife, you can't leave your house, but you can just put their comments in a little box and just put that box away. You don't have to believe everything they say. The best way to overcome negative people is by winning, is by fulfilling your dreams. And if that negative person is you, then the best way that you can overcome that negative you or that negative belief that we talked about is by accomplishing your dreams. That'll quiet every naysayer, every hater online, every person who doesn't believe in you or who doesn't see it. And here's the thing. Stop putting everything out there for people to tell you if you can do it or not. I'm not putting my specific goals and obstacles out here for you to say, oh, you can do it. I'm just teaching you what I have to go through to stay focused. But a lot of people these days, they may project so much, I don't know, BS, lies, things that they want to do, and they're doing it to have others affirm them. They're looking for affirmation. Instead, find that within yourself, within the partners in your life, within God and your relationship with Jesus, in your own faith and spiritual commitments to what you know you are, to who you know you are. And then out of that strength, partner with people that are similar to you. And how do you find partners? A lot of it is first prayer, is say, Lord, help me to find people or bring people into my life that will want to partner with me. Now, a mistake that I have made is there have been a lot of partners that have come my way. But because of that tendency, as I mentioned, to be a solo guy, a lot of people get discouraged and they say, well, I guess he doesn't want to work together. Or maybe he thinks he can do it all. Or maybe he's down and he's always depressed or unmotivated. People won't want to be around you if you're in that place, in that state of mind. That's why you and I have to get our act together so that we can attract the right person, whether it's in a relationship or in business or in nonprofit work, whatever it is that you are pursuing. Partner with those who have the same or very similar vision as you. Now, how do you know if people have the same vision as you? You can just tell. You share your dreams with them, and there will be three responses. Some will say, yeah, that's a dumb idea. Okay, X that person out of your life, no matter who it is. Mentally, just don't go there. Second, too, there are people who will say, oh, that's interesting, who will be neutral. You know, those people can be very important in your life. They may not want to win with you, but they may be very supportive. They might even give you a contribution, a financial contribution. They might, if anything, just help you, I don't know, set up chairs for your next event. And then there are those that usually are just a few. You don't need 10 of these people. You just need one, maybe three, at most 4 or 5. There are those that have the same vision as you. There's something in you and in them that just wakes up when you come together. You might have very different or small differences in personality or in unique goals, and that's actually good. But it's like the Venn diagram. When you come together, your circles overlap for the most part, maybe 80-90% of your goals align. And that 10% that doesn't, that's where the growth happens. So that's actually exciting. I have a friend right now who he and I have about 80-90% very similar goals. There's 10% where he sharpens me and then I sharpen him. That's what you want in a partner. I have another girl who is very much also seeking the same things that I want. She may be connects with me in maybe 60-70%, maybe 80%, but that's enough. It doesn't have to be 100%, but if it's only 10%, I have another friend who I would say her goals partner with me maybe about 20%. And so you have to know how much of this person's personal goals and what God is doing in their lives align with you, and look for those people who align with you at least, I would say 75 and higher. So that way you have synergy and you have a lot to share. And then those people that are neutral, you just say thank you. And those 25% people, you say thank you and you give them a place to serve as well. And then those people that are against you, then you definitely want to avoid them. Now, speaking of input, number 4, very important. And this is, again, I want to be very specific so that you can learn from my own process, is seek positive input. I feel like these days with the news or with just even being online all day long, even if you're ignoring the news, which I tend to do because it's so negative, you can numb yourself by just watching the same stuff all the time. Even if you just work all the time and you're at work every day, it can be very easy to focus so much on your job that you're not really refreshing your goals. You're not really even thinking about what you really want because you're so focused on just the tasks at hand, caring for the kids and going to the store and working your job. This is why it's so important to seek input from the outside. I am an input person, and maybe I am at times too much of an input person, and maybe I need to do more with all my knowledge. That is definitely true. But perhaps you are on the opposite end. You don't receive enough input. Now, for me, my wife is the number one person who gives me and whose input I respect and need the most. Then I have other just virtual friends, Cliff Ravenscraft, shout out to Cliff, Amanda Francis, shout out to Amanda, and then podcasts, YouTube, of course, the Word of God, prayer. All of these tools are useful in my life, in your life, to get your mind thinking right. GOZO TV, right here, this program that I do twice a day, 7 days a week. Even though, I get 0 views or 1 view, it doesn't really matter to me because a lot of it is me showing up for myself to remind myself of my beliefs. But also it could be one person who needs. It might be the same person who hears me every week, every whatever. It doesn't matter because it's about showing up. And I hopefully can be that input in your life. You might just be coming across Periscope or YouTube, and you might, have a little bit of time today on a Saturday afternoon, and maybe one word. I know I can talk too long, and I repeat myself, and I'm not very exciting, and I'm boring, and all of these things that I know about myself. But one thing I do know is that I keep trying to help people. And so it might be one word that I say, or maybe it's just a resource. You might look up these people and be like, who are these people? And maybe they will help you. That's all good to me. But receive input, seek input in your life. Ask yourself, who are the people, the specific places, people, the programs that provide value into my life? Now, if they make you feel insecure, maybe you're not at that place of receiving their knowledge. They might not be the right fit for you in the moment. For a lot of these, except my beautiful wife, of course, for a lot of these other resources, I've taken breaks from listening to them because sometimes, whether it's podcasts or YouTube or even God's word, sometimes I think, I'm just not at the right place to hear even what God has to say. I need to take this afternoon off or even this week to just get my mind in the right place so I can then receive what God has to say, what some of my mentors have to say. At times, yes, my wife has to say. You have to know how ready you are to receive input. You have to know, like with your diet, what are you lacking? I mean, often when I'm eating pizza and I'm eating, chocolate at night, I know that what I'm lacking are fruits and vegetables. I'm lacking something that's nutritious. So right here, yesterday or a couple days ago, I went and got donuts for breakfast. Today, I'm having a healthy protein shake that my beautiful son made for me because I can tell my body, needs something healthy. It needs to eat more grain and protein and fruits. And so in the same way, you have to gauge, what do you need right now? What is the kind of input that you need? And so my wife provides truth telling. She is an Enneagram 1. And so if you're into the Enneagram, I'm a 3, she's a 1. We both are high achievers, but what she does for me that I need the most, the 3 can be the deceiver, the vanity seeking person, the liar, the person who hides behind appearance. And guess what? The 1 is the strongest at truth telling. But she does it with kindness, with love. 25 years next month of my beautiful wife. But imagine if I was married to someone who was also a little bit of a, we'll just kind of color outside the lines. We would both maybe sell drugs and have no life, or maybe we'd be millionaires, billionaires in Colombia selling crazy stuff, but we would not be happy. We would not have the kind of relationship. And I'm just kidding with us. I've been watching way too much Narcos the last few nights. Excuse me. Excuse me. But my point is, you have to, I hope that didn't mess up anything here on the screen. Okay, let me just check really quick that everything's working. Crazy stuff. Okay, yeah. Would not be happy. Yeah, it's working fine. Okay, excuse me, just. Oh, it did work. Okay, good. I was just checking the mute button that I have, make sure it didn't mess up anything. But my wife is an amazing, obviously, input in my life, because she helps me to stay focused, back to the Enneagram, on the truth. You have to know who are the people that help you stay focused. Is it your sister? Is it your husband? Is it your parents? Is it someone online? Obviously, these days, online people can be so effective. You know, a lot of people love Gary Vee, or maybe Jay Shetty, or Eckhart Tolle, or Oprah, or there's a million amazing spiritual Russell Brand and Russell Brunson. A ton of amazing people. You have to pick and choose. Even with my content, right? You have to say, okay, I like this. That's not for me. That's fine. With Cliff Ravenscraft, with Amanda, with a ton of podcasts and YouTube that I listen to. I also avoid, I haven't been on Facebook in like at least 2 years. I haven't liked or seen or known or commented on any pictures or whatever it is in years. Same with Twitter, same with Instagram. It keeps me focused on what I want. It keeps me focused on providing value on those platforms, which of course I love to do, podcasts and Facebook and all the rest. But I don't need to be listening or watching stuff that I don't really need to be watching. It's especially Instagram, Facebook, social media. It's unimportant to me. Instead, I only look for things that are going to benefit my goals, podcasts that are going to help me stay focused. So this morning, I woke up and my wife had some family stuff that she had to do. And so I thought, okay, what am I going to do today? There's some things that I need to finish just for work for tomorrow. But I have a few hours. I thought I'm going to listen to Cliff's podcast. I hadn't listened to him in about 6 months. And it just totally helped me. It focused me back on what I want. Yesterday I listened to, what's this guy's name? He was new to me. He's an author. He wrote a couple of books, and he has a live stream every day called the Money Tree. I think that's what it's called, the Money Tree. I mean, what an awesome title for a book. You know how your parents say the money doesn't grow on trees, right? Well, he wrote a book called The Money Tree, and his whole premise is, I forget his name. I forget. He has a really unique last name and a kind of normal first name. I forget his name. I just started listening to him yesterday, but it's called The Money Tree, and his whole premise, I watched maybe like 4 or 5 hours of his content yesterday. I loved it. It was so what I needed. He was saying how even though money doesn't grow on trees, we can begin to plant seeds in our backyard, such as listening to the right input. It's taking that next step and work out. So yesterday, or was it a couple days ago, I worked out for the first time in like, I don't know, 2-3 months, maybe not that long. Maybe it's been a couple of weeks. But when you listen to the right stuff, it motivates you to go back to your dreams, back to your visions, back to that God-given adventure that He's given you. And I want to give you just that bonus verse that I was mentioning to you. So this is Matthew 7, asking, seeking, knocking. Ask and you will receive. Search and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. Whoever seeks finds. And to everyone who knocks, the door is open. I'll stop there. Now, the manifesting stuff that's happening everywhere, right? We're manifesting this and the law of attraction and talking to the universe and all of this stuff that has become so popular, especially among young people and Gen Xers. In many ways, I understand it. In other ways, I resist it because I don't believe in asking an entity such as a star for anything. But I do believe in asking God, who knows and who loves me and who is with me and who died for me and who gets rid of those bad desires and that sin, the Bible calls it, and purifies my heart and gives me the strength to accomplish my dreams. That I do believe in, and that is what the Bible says. So a lot of young people at the store the other day, or I was getting my car washed or getting my oil fixed, or the tire, something like that. And the young man, maybe 27, Latino like me, he said, hey, do you believe in manifestation? Because he knew that I had a podcast. And I said, well, let me tell you what I do believe in. Everyone, every young person's millennials or Gen Xers, Instagram thing is all about manifesting. You type in the podcast app manifestation or spirituality, you will see 99% of people teaching about manifestation. And I understand it, because we all want to talk to someone, the universe, and receive and do the work, of course. But here's the verse that really means everything to me, and it can really help you. Ask and you will receive. It's the same principle that manifestation is Buddhism, is Hinduism, is New Age, it's spirituality, but only in Jesus. This is not to be exclusive. It's just the truth of the joy that this means to me, or that this brings me. Only when you talk to a loving God. Well, God doesn't exist. Well, then we go back to the universe, right? Does the universe exist? If you are already praying to the universe and to your ancestors and to the horoscope and spirituality and to crystals and to all this stuff that people believe in, why don't you go all the way and actually talk to a God who loves you? His name is Jesus. And again, this is that manifesting verse that everyone wants these days, but it's rooted in talking to a God who knows you, and his son, Jesus, who actually lived on this earth. Wouldn't you want to actually talk to someone who was real, who is actually present in your life today, who walks with you, talks with you, and is with you along every way, including 2020? Of course, that's who we all would rather have, right? Now, and I love the second part of this verse where it says, who among you will give your children a stone when they ask for bread? And I love that part, because I think sometimes, back to limiting beliefs, I tell myself, even God doesn't want to give me a big church. No, nobody believes in me. I'm already too old. I mean, Dante, who is my idol, I guess you could say, or my example, or my friend down the street here, Chavez, I think, well, they had success in their 20s and 30s, and now they're 50 or 40 something. Of course, now they have the big churches. Me, I have a small church and I'm already 51. And see how easily even just my body language changed, because that's really how I often talk to myself. What does God say? Who among you will give your children, meaning me, you, a stone when they ask for a bread? Why would God give me something that I'm not asking for? Not only something I'm not asking for, but why would he give me something that's going to hurt me? Why would he give me a snake or a stone? If your own father, of course, wouldn't do that. The other part, it says, if you're asking for bread or for a fish, he says, what father would give him a snake? No father would do that. And then he says, how much more your Father in heaven, who loves you, again, back to a being who knows you, who loves you, who died for you, who left his spirit in you. His name is Jesus, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Why would God, who loves you, who knows you, who died for you, would he give you a snake? Why would he give me something that I don't want, or something that's going to harm me? Why would he not give me what I ask for? Now, is he going to give me everything that I ask for? I don't know. Only he knows. It's up to him. But what I can be clear on is, Lord, here's what I want. And I want to show you again my list of the things that I want, just so that you can see how important it is to be clear on what we want. To be very, very clear. A big church, a fit body, finish my degree, speak to thousands, sing to thousands, work with my beautiful daughter, and the financial goal there with the media. What do you want? What are the specific things that you long for? Be clear on them. Find those mentors. Work with me. I want to end with giving you this last slide. Let's connect. Sign up for free. Coaching before August 1st, 2020. It's free. Normally, it's $100 value. I spent 30, 40 minutes with you through FaceTime, phone, text, whatever you want. And I just share with you a lot of the same things, but we actually sit down together and we work through a plan that I have, 11 steps to help you accomplish your dreams, even in 2020. You can also email me there at the website that you see, or you can go to my website at the email, Trig at davidTrig.com, or go to my website to find out more about my free coaching program, davidTrig.com/free coaching. All of these tools are ways that you can connect with me so that we can together. I'm not a millionaire. I don't have that perfect body or that big church. But I've had success in the past. I've had those big churches. I've had that great body. I have worked in different entrepreneurial adventures and had success. And right now, it's a time to sign up once again, to level up. To maybe you're not ready to level up yet. Maybe you still need to get rid of those limiting beliefs, of the fear of 2020, of the chaos of what's happening, of the concern that you have for your job, for your health, for your parents. And maybe that's the place to start. But I am here to be a sojourner with you, to walk together with you, and to hopefully bring you joy and GOZO that we all need. So thank you so much for being here. I want to just encourage you to share this broadcast with your friends. Perhaps we had 1 or 2 people here live. It's, as I always say, it's fine, but maybe there's someone watching after the fact that needed to hear this, or someone that is in your network that needs to hear this. Share this broadcast with your friends on YouTube. Give me a thumbs up, because it helps the algorithm to tell YouTube that people are interested in this content. Same thing on Facebook. Leave a comment, put a like or a heart. Same on Periscope and on Twitch. I love Twitch, by the way. Logic, one of my favorite rappers, just signed a 7-figure, speaking of goals and dreams, 7-figure deal with Twitch. I think it was just last week. So I'm so thankful for Logic and excited for him, that he wants to not only be a great father, but also pursue his dreams, perhaps off the rapping game. We'll see. But yeah, shout out to Twitch and to Logic. Shout out to Periscope, my favorite platform. Also, make sure that you go to my podcast, which is a lot of the same content, but just audio. And a lot of times I love when I'm working out, when I work out, or when I'm just at home or I'm in the car, I love listening to audio, because it's these awesome microphones. It's well done. It has intro music, and it's just really well done. And if you would like to work with me, both as an entrepreneur and as someone who wants to get your life back in order, or you want to actually host your podcast or video course here in my studios. I have a professional studio here in my home office where you can come and record your content. Very, very favorable prices, and we will take care of the rest. As I said, my daughter and I, we have this company called Trig Media. We will help you with branding, with content, with monetizing your video. You can go to, actually, let me show you the website here. Perhaps I can show you quickly here the website where you can find out more. Let me see here, davidTrig, Trig Media. Let's see if I can show you this page. Sometimes the internet is slow at this time of the day, but I think, let's see here, Trig Media, right? Okay, Trig Media. Let's see if it shows up. Okay. It's kind of dragging its feet. Let's see. Let me just keep clicking a few things here. Okay, I think I have it here. So right there are 2 of my beautiful friends that I helped last fall? Yeah, last year, early this year, to start their own podcast. And then there's my own podcast that I have there. And you can just click on these links to start your own podcast. And I have a free resource that you can just put in your email, and I will send you a free resource on how to start your own podcast. And if you would like to be a part of this community, you can just simply go to these places. I also have a podcast society where you can be a part of a mastermind that I mentioned. It started this summer, and we're just right now on the waiting list. You can just click here on the waiting list, and you can be added to the waiting list so that when we start and we have at least, as I said, 6-8 people, then we can begin to learn together how to be a great podcaster, video person, create content for your particular audience. Now, I did want to show you one more Let's see here. Where do I have that? I thought I had it here somewhere. Here we go. I think this is it right here. Let me just show you this other page that I was working on. Okay, let me see if I can find it here. Let's see here. Is this one? I actually put together a page just for today that I hope I can find. Maybe it hasn't published yet, but we'll just see here. Let me go to, I think it was under cart flows. Yeah, cart flows. And it's just a simple page that I want to show you. I think it's this one called courses. So let me see here if it's published. It says published, so we'll see. Okay, so here it is. So this is the landing page, or the sales page as they call it. Trig Media learns a podcast like a pro and touch the world with your message. Yeah, so you can go to buy now and it'll take you to my sales page, where you can put in your info and get ready to start podcasting. So you have all the details right here of how to do that, and I still got to figure out a few things, but you can just go to, yeah, they said the website here is kind of slow, or but I have all the courses here. So the world courses: communication, branding, purpose, tech, marketing, and monetization. So those are the courses that I am offering this summer for a very low price. You can just click on Let's Get Started, and that link is, welcome. Okay, so it's davidtrig.com/trig/welcome. I thought it was media. So let me see if I can put that in the comments below, so you can just go to that page right now and enter your information, and I will reach out to you and we can begin to talk about how to get your message out to the world. Let me just see here how to type in that information. It's davidtrig.com/trig/welcome. I want to change it to media, but I think we'll just leave it at that. So as I said, come and join this community of people just like you and me that are wanting to make a difference in the world through our content, through our lives, through what God has given us. Even if you have a regular job, a 9 to 5, and you want to create a second income stream, a side hustle. I have a friend who paints on the side, and she puts all kinds of artwork. Right now, it's just selling it online because there are no events out in, at the local flea market or whatever, but she is still creating content of just her painting and staying in people's minds, kind of front of mind stuff. And she has a full-time job. She's a teacher, but yet on the side, she creates art on canvas. She loves to paint on the weekends. Her kids now are 16, 17, so she has extra time to be able to paint. Now, you might be a mom and your kids are still maybe young, maybe 9, 11, 13. You're super busy. You have a husband, a job. Maybe you have a ton of responsibilities. You can still take maybe one day a week, or one evening a week, or two evenings a week to work on your side hustle. Let's talk. What is your side hustle? If I can help you, I'd love to. Maybe I can just refer you to the right person that can connect you with the next person that can help you accomplish your dreams. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here, and I will see you next time. Adios.
Thank you for listening to The David Trigg Show. Find the complete archive at davidtrig.com, or subscribe for free through the podcast app on iTunes or Stitcher on Android.
Each week, we bring you a message of joy, success, and personal power in spite of fear, anxiety, and depression. Because as we like to say, though there's pain in the night, GOZO comes in the morning.